This message will only reach you once in a lifetime. If you are seeing this, it's not an accident. It's a sign that your search for answers has finally come to an end. There is an ancient truth, a secret guarded for millennia by the Egyptian sage Thoth, designed to be revealed only when a person is on the verge of a great change. And this video is the key that activates that revelation within you. But I need to warn you, after you hear what is here, there is no going back. Your perception of reality will change forever. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why this message will never need to be repeated, and how it initiates the next phase of your life. What you're about to discover isn't a theory, it's an activation. A truth that, once awakened, frees you from the repetitive cycles that keep you trapped. If you feel there's something more in life, a void that nothing fills, stay until the end, because the answer you've been searching for is hidden here, and it's simpler and more powerful than you imagine. If you felt the calling, comment, "I am ready." He who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakens. This realization that has begun to awaken within you now places you before a choice, a symbolic door. Imagine it clearly in your mind. It is not an ordinary door. It represents a point of no return. The moment you cross it, the person you were, with your old beliefs and limitations, is left behind forever. Not because you are trapped in a new place, but because you have evolved. Real transformation is not a temporary visit. It is a permanent change of existential address. Once the piece fits, the puzzle of your life takes on a completely new and unrecognizable form. Our minds, however, hate this idea of a point of no return. They are survival machines programmed to seek safety in repetition and familiarity, even if the familiar is painful. They crave guarantees, an undo button, the possibility of going back if the new territory seems daunting. That's why we try to recreate moments of clarity, chasing after people and situations that once brought us revelation, hoping to feel the same magic again. But this is a trap of the mind itself to keep us in the known cycle. This attempt to relive the past is like asking the sun to rise twice in the same day. The frustration we feel when we fail is not a mistake of the universe, but rather confirmation that the energy exchange of that moment has already been completed. Life, in its infinite wisdom, is pushing you forward, telling you that the magic is not in revisiting what has already been, but in discovering what comes next. The door closed precisely so that you have no other option but to explore the new world that opens before you, a world that demands a new version of you. Thoth, the master of wisdom, perfectly understood this immutable law of transformation. In engraving his knowledge on the legendary emerald tablets, he didn't create an instruction manual for the masses. He sealed a vibrational wisdom, a frequency intended only for those whose consciousness was attuned to decode it. The truth that truly transforms doesn't need insistence or repetition. It only needs a single, genuine reception. It's an instant download that rewrites your internal operating system. It's not something you learn. It's something you become. Think of a deep trauma you finally overcame. There was an exact moment, an inner click, when the pain lost its power over you. You didn't need to relive that moment of liberation every day for it to remain real. The chain broke, and that was it. You moved on, lighter. The same happens with wisdom. When a profound truth resonates with your soul, it integrates permanently into your being. The search for that specific answer, ends there, not because you've become a know-it-all, but because that piece of the puzzle has found its definitive place. Modern society, with its incessant flow of information, has conditioned us to be collectors of data, not incorporators of wisdom. We jump from one video to another, from one book to the next, always searching for the next dose of inspiration, the next magic solution. But accumulating knowledge without experiencing it is like collecting recipes without ever cooking. You have a book full of possibilities, but you're still hungry. This message is an invitation to stop collecting and start integrating, to walk through the door and close the chapter on the incessant search. This single door is also a concept found in quantum physics in what's called wave function collapse. Before observation, a particle exists in a state of infinite possibilities. But the moment it is observed, it chooses one state, and all other possibilities disappear for that reality. Similarly, before this moment of clarity, your life had many potential paths. Upon receiving this message, your consciousness collapses a new reality, and the path back to the person you were simply ceases to exist. This journey is what alchemists called solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate. First, you dissolve your old identity, your limiting beliefs, the story you told yourself. This is the moment to cross the threshold, leaving the old behind. Then, on the other side, you begin to coagulate, to form a new identity, more authentic and aligned with your truth. It is a process of death and rebirth that happens in life, and the threshold is the door that separates these two states of being. Many spiritual traditions speak of this transition. In Zen Buddhism, it is the moment of Satori, an instant of awakening that alters perception forever. In shamanic rites of passage, the initiate faces an ordeal that transforms them, and they never return as the same person. What all these traditions teach is that true change is a quantum event, a leap, not a gradual walk. It is a turning point from which your personal timeline is rewritten. So if this message is so definitive, what happens after the door closes? What is the next step when there is no going back to the safety of what was familiar? What awaits us on the other side is not a final destination, but the beginning of the true journey. A journey no longer guided by external maps, but by an internal compass that has just been activated. And this journey leads us to a place that holds the key to this inner architecture, the Great Pyramid. The secret hidden in the Great Pyramid. On the other side of the door, the journey leads you to one of humanity's greatest mysteries, one that holds the key to what is happening within you right now. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Many believe that Thoth was not just a sage, but the intelligence behind this monumental structure. Not as a stone engineer, but as an architect of energy. Legend says he designed the pyramid as a reflection of the sacred geometry of the universe, a resonance device designed to awaken consciousness. The chambers and corridors that have intrigued archaeologists for centuries may not have been built for dead pharaohs, but for living initiates. They would have been stages for a profound inner journey, where each passage and each chamber would represent a stage of the soul's ascension. The structure would not have been a tomb, but a womb of rebirth, a place where an individual could shed their worldly identity and align themselves with the frequencies of the cosmos, emerging forever transformed. At the heart of the pyramid, the so-called King's Chamber is the focal point of this mystery. Visitors report feeling an inexplicable energy there, a vibration that seems to silence the mind and speak directly to the soul. It is said that this was not a burial place, but a center of sonic initiation. A place where, through frequencies and resonance, a candidate could die to their old self, to their limited ego, and be reborn with an expanded perception of reality. The very vibration of Thoth is said to be encoded in the stones. What's most fascinating is that this sacred architecture doesn't exist only in the Egyptian desert. It exists as a latent blueprint within each of us. You possess an inner pyramid, an energetic structure of consciousness waiting to be activated. Your own secret chambers, your own ascending corridors are all there. This message that has reached you, this moment of recognition, is the key beginning to turn in the lock of the first chamber, awakening soul memories that were dormant. These inner chambers hold not gold or artifacts, but something infinitely more valuable: the records of your own divinity. Thoth is said to have hidden this knowledge not only in stone, but in human consciousness itself, in our spiritual DNA. The outer pyramid is merely a reminder, an acupuncture point on the planet to help us remember the magnificent structure we carry within. Activating this inner pyramid is the true purpose of the spiritual journey. But how do we access these internal cameras? If the pyramid is a map, where are the instructions? Legend says that Thoth left behind a guide, not an ordinary book, but a living text, a spiritual technology that interacts with whoever reads it. A set of tablets that not only contain information, but respond directly to its frequency, revealing its secrets only to those who are ready. And it is to this technology that our journey now turns. The instructions for navigating your inner pyramid aren't on a paper map, but on something far more dynamic and mysterious. Esoteric tradition speaks of the Emerald Tablets, a legendary text attributed to Thoth. But forget the idea of an old, dusty book. The tablets are described as a form of spiritual technology, a living consciousness disguised as writing. They are not static. They interact with the reader, responding directly to their level of readiness and vibration. To a skeptical or unprepared mind, the words on the tablets may seem like just a set of poetic metaphors or meaningless riddles. However, to a sincere seeker, to someone whose soul has begun to awaken, these same words become keys. They begin to unlock levels of understanding that the logical mind cannot reach. They don't just inform, they activate. They awaken a knowledge that was already latent within you, making you feel like you are remembering something rather than learning it. Think about the words you are reading now. They are the same for everyone who encounters them, but the experience they are generating within you is unique. That inner click, that feeling that something profound is making sense for the first time, is proof of this alchemy. It is your consciousness resonating with the frequency of the message. It is the living wisdom of the tablets responding to your readiness. You are not just decoding words, you are dialoguing with an ancestral knowledge that has recognized you. This is why true wisdom cannot be forced or taught in a conventional way. It operates at the frequency level. I could say the exact same things to 100 people, and perhaps only a handful of them would feel that deep connection. Not because the others are less intelligent, but because their frequency is not yet attuned to that of the message. There is no judgment in this. The timing of the soul is perfect, and your moment to tune into this specific frequency is now. The Emerald Tablets, therefore, are not a destination but a portal, They don't give you a set of ready-made answers to be memorized. Instead, they invite you on a journey of self-transformation. They challenge you not only to understand wisdom, but to become wisdom itself, to incorporate it into your cells, into your actions, into your way of existing in the world. The words you absorb now will never have the same meaning again, because you will never be the same person who read them for the first time. But how can a text, ancient or modern, have this power to interact with our consciousness? What is the mechanism behind this spiritual technology that allows words to become a personal key to your transformation? The answer lies not in the words themselves, but in the force that orchestrates the moment they encounter you. A force that many call divine timing, proof that you were never late for the most important event of your life. The illusion of being behind schedule. The mechanism that allows the right words to find you at the right time is governed by a universal law that our anxious minds have difficulty accepting. We live under the tyranny of the clock, obsessed with the idea that we are late, that we are missing opportunities, that time is running out. But this is an illusion. The universe does not operate in the linear time we measure, chronos. It operates in kairos, qualitative time, the perfect moment, the divine opportunity that cannot be scheduled or missed. The information you need, the revelation that can change your life, always arrives precisely when you become capable of using it. Not a second before, not because of some cosmic test, but for a very practical reason. Before, you wouldn't have been able to sustain it. You would have heard the words but missed the message. You would have nodded, but nothing in your life would have changed. The seed of wisdom can only germinate in soil that has been properly prepared, and your entire journey so far has been that preparation. Consider the legend of Thoth. He didn't go around distributing the emerald tablets in the public square. He sealed them, understanding that true wisdom is patient. He knew that millennia could pass, but that at the right moment, the right souls would find their way to it. He was in no hurry, for he understood that nothing that is truly yours can be lost. Every moment you judged as a failure, a detour, or a waste of time was, in fact, shaping you, calibrating you for this very instant. This perfect orchestration is what we call synchronicity. Those coincidences that are so significant they defy logic. Finding the right person, the right book, the right message, exactly when you need it most. These are not accidents. They are visible proof that there is a higher intelligence weaving the threads of your life, guiding you towards your own awakening. You are not late for your life. You arrived exactly on time for your most important appointment. The anxiety of being behind is a trick of the mind to keep you trapped in the relentless pursuit. It makes you believe you need to run faster, do more, know more. But the truth is, you just need to stop, breathe, and receive what is already being offered to you in this moment. You are exactly where you need to be, and everything that happened before was necessary to bring you here. Your readiness is not something you achieve through effort. It's something you recognize when you finally allow yourself to be still. But if you arrived at the right time, what was your purpose? What is the event for which your whole life has been preparing you? It's not an external event with lights and applause. It's an internal event, silent and profound. It's the moment when the search ends and true transformation begins. A process that often starts with an uncomfortable feeling, a sense of emptiness that seems strange, but which is actually the sign that real change has finally begun. The event you've been prepared for isn't a party, but a profound silence that settles in after the revelation. This is the strangest and perhaps most crucial moment of the entire journey. Integration. We're conditioned to think that great awakenings come with explosions of joy and fireworks, but more often than not, true change comes subtly. It feels like a calm, sure, it's always been like this. There's no drama, just a silent, internal recalibration that can feel like a void. This emptiness is uncomfortable because our mind doesn't know what to do with it. It's used to the noise, the search, the next objective. When the search for a specific answer ends, the mind panics. Now what? It asks. There's no more adrenaline from the treasure hunt, just the slow, quiet work of letting the new truth settle into your bones. It seems like nothing is happening, but it is precisely in this silence that the most powerful alchemy occurs. It is here that information becomes wisdom. It is in this space that the message that was external begins to become internal knowledge, a part of who you are. You stop merely agreeing with ideas and begin to embody them. This process is slow and not at all glamorous. There are no dopamine spikes during integration. This is why so many people receive a revelation and, a few days later, revert to old patterns. They couldn't bear the discomfort of the void, the period when the caterpillar dissolves inside the cocoon before becoming a butterfly. But this emptiness is not a sign of loss or that something has gone wrong. On the contrary, it is the sacred space that opens up when you finally release the weight you were carrying. The weight of the seeker identity, of the person who defined themselves by their incessant search for answers. When this identity begins to dissolve, it's natural to feel a void. Life stops seeming like a treasure hunt and starts to resemble a path you are creating with each step, without a defined map. Trusting this process is the greatest challenge. It takes courage to remain silent, to allow transformation to happen at its own pace, without forcing the next step. It is an act of faith in oneself and in the process of life. It is understanding that emptiness is not absence, but pure potential. It is the fertile ground where your new reality is beginning to sprout, far from the curious eyes of your anxious mind. It is the womb of your new identity. But what happens when the search truly ends? What remains when the voice of the seeker that has lived within you for so long finally falls silent? What emerges from this silence is not nothing, but everything. It is the birth of a new way of being, an identity no longer based on lack or searching, but on presence and knowledge. It is the symbolic death of who you thought you were, so that who you truly are can finally be born. The death of the seeker, the birth of the wise one. What emerges from the silence is the central revelation of this journey, the point the title promised. Thoth's journey through the symbolic underworld of Amenti wasn't about exploring the afterlife, but about the necessary death of the ego, the death of that part of us that identifies with the quest, that believes happiness is always in the next book, the next relationship, the next achievement. This is the moment when that external search for answers finally ceases, because you realize the answer has always been within you. We live in a culture that has monetized the spiritual quest. We are bombarded with promises of secrets and magic formulas, transforming wisdom into just another consumer item. It's easy to get lost in this spiritual supermarket, collecting insights as if they were trophies, filling the mind with concepts that are never put into practice. But knowing the path is very different from walking the path. Knowing is not becoming, and there comes a point when you need to stop accumulating maps and start taking the first step. This moment isn't about learning something you didn't know. It's about finally giving yourself permission to accept a truth your soul has always known. It's like when you learn a new word and suddenly start seeing it everywhere. The word didn't multiply. Your perception is simply attuned to recognize it. Similarly, you're not discovering anything new here. You're simply tuning your consciousness to recognize the wisdom that already resides within you, patiently waiting to be activated. The relentless search for external answers is, in essence, a form of resistance. It's a way of avoiding the responsibility that comes with knowledge. While you are searching, you can postpone action. But when the answer arrives and settles in, there are no more excuses. The search was a comfortable distraction that prevented you from facing the truth. The power to change your life has always been in your hands. The relentless search was resistance to the answer that had already arrived. The seeker within you needs to die so that the knower can be born. The knower is not someone who has all the answers, but someone who has stopped asking the wrong questions. It is someone who trusts the wisdom that emerges from their own being instead of seeking it in external sources. It is the transition from a life of reaction to a life of creation. It is the moment when you stop being an effect of the world and become the cause of your own experience. And from here, everything changes. Not in a noisy and dramatic way, but in a profound and irreversible way. The external world may seem the same, but your experience of it is completely different. You are no longer a pawn in the game. You become the player. The seeker dies, and in its place is born the conscious creator of their own reality. And the next step is not to seek anymore, but to silently integrate this new identity into every fiber of your being. With the death of the seeker, the true task begins. And it doesn't happen in retreats or seminars, but in the silence of daily life. Integration is the alchemical process of transforming the theoretical gold of wisdom into a lived reality. It is the fundamental difference between an intellectual who can quote all sacred texts and a sage whose mere presence transmits peace. It is when knowledge descends from the mind and lodges in the bones, becoming one's new nature. This process is not glamorous. It is slow, often invisible to others. It may seem like nothing special is happening, but that's where the most important work is done. It's in your decision to take a deep breath instead of reacting with anger. It's in your ability to feel a negative emotion without identifying with it. It's in your conscious choice to see an opportunity where you previously saw an obstacle. The message that was external becomes an internal knowing, an automatic response from your being. It is at this point that life ceases to be a theory and becomes a constant practice. You take that click you felt, that truth that resonated, and you begin to live it. You test it in the laboratory of your life. You let it inform your decisions, your conversations, the way you treat yourself and others. And gradually, almost imperceptibly, it ceases to be something you need to think about and becomes something you simply do. The conscious effort disappears. Real change happens when your new way of being becomes your default state. The goal was never to collect more pearls of wisdom, but to deeply incorporate the one that found you. It's about allowing it to transform you from the inside out, so completely that the old version of you begins to seem like a stranger. a distant memory from another life. You don't need to announce your transformation to the world. People will feel the difference in your energy, your calmness, your authenticity. When you stop talking about wanting to change and simply become different, the magic happens. Synchronicities intensify. The right people and opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. It's not the universe that has changed. It's you. Your frequency has shifted, and now you are attracting a reality that matches your new vibration. You become a magnet for experiences that are aligned with your truest self, the one born from the silence of integration. But how do you know if the integration is complete? How do you know if the lesson has truly been learned? There is no certificate of completion. The sign is subtle. The need to continue searching in that specific area simply disappears. Not because you have become arrogant, but because peace has replaced anxiety. Confidence has replaced doubt. And this completeness signals the closing of a massive energetic cycle, opening the portal to the next phase of your existence. The closing of the cycle and the next phase. This feeling of peace, of no longer needing to search, is a sign that a major energetic cycle in your life has closed. Energetically, this means that the lesson has been fully learned and the energy that was trapped in that search has been released and integrated into your being. Just as Thoth fulfilled his mission by transferring wisdom from one era to another, you too reach a point of completeness. The search for this specific answer, the one that brought you here, ends now. This doesn't happen because this text contains some ultimate secret that no other has. It happens because you, and only you, have finally reached a state of readiness to hear what your soul has been trying to tell you for years, perhaps in dozens of different ways. But this time, the message didn't just touch the surface of your mind, it penetrated the core of your being. This time, your system was ready not only to hear, but to absorb, to integrate, to become. The clarity that emerges from this closure is your new compass. It is infallible. The next phase of your life is not about finding more maps or following in someone else's footsteps. It's about having the courage to walk your own path, fully trusting this inner compass that now works perfectly. It's about taking the truth that has settled within you and allowing it to guide you in every decision, every interaction, every moment of silence. The end of a quest is by no means the end of the journey. On the contrary, it is the true beginning. It is the moment when you can finally let go of the crutches of external guides and walk on your own 2 feet. The map is now engraved in your heart. You no longer need to look outside for direction. The direction flows from within you. The next phase is not the next quest. It is the next embodiment, the next level of living your truth in the world. This cycle closes so that a new one, infinitely more powerful and creative, can begin. The energy that was previously spent on searching is now free to be used for creation, to create a new reality, new relationships, a new sense of purpose that doesn't come from a need to prove yourself, but from a genuine desire to express who you have become. You stop trying to fix your life and start living it as a work of art. And this leads you to the final and most profound step of all. The closing of this cycle is not just for your benefit. By completing this inner journey, you prepare yourself to fulfill a much greater role in the grand scheme of things. You prepare yourself to become the message itself, the living embodiment of the wisdom you once sought, thus fulfilling the ultimate purpose of Thoth's journey. The journey culminates here in a deeper understanding of the key to perpetual life, that Thoth is said to have received. This key was not about the immortality of the physical body, but about the immortality of wisdom. And wisdom only becomes immortal when it ceases to be an idea and becomes a living presence through those who embody it. True immortality is not about living forever. It is about living in such a way that your truth and your light continue to shine through your example, long after you are gone. By integrating this message, by experiencing its transformation, you naturally cease to be merely a receiver and become a transmitter. But not through preaching or trying to convince others. You become a transmitter through your own existence. Your calmness amidst the chaos becomes a beacon for those lost in the storm. Your clarity becomes a silent guide for those who are confused. You become living proof that transformation is possible. You become the message, not because you try to teach, but because you have become the lesson itself. People who are ready, those who are vibrating at a similar frequency to yours, will naturally be drawn to your energy. They will see something in you, a peace, an authenticity, a freedom, and they will wonder how you achieved it. And so, effortlessly, the cycle continues. The wisdom that has found you now flows through you to find the next person. The circuit is complete. The energy that was once sent by ancient sages has found you, done its activation work, and now that same energy is radiated by you. This message, this moment, has fulfilled its purpose. It found you, awakened you, and now silently releases you. It no longer belongs to you because it has become you. You are not the same person who began reading this text. Something fundamental has settled, aligned, healed. The clarity you possess now is not a trophy, it's a tool. It's your compass, your guide, your strength. Trust it above all else. Follow it without hesitation, and simply observe, with wonder, how your life begins to reorganize itself, to align itself, not with the version of yourself you were desperately trying to become, but with the version of yourself you always were, waiting to be rediscovered. The cycle closes here, the search ends here, not because there's nothing more to learn, but because you've learned what this moment came to teach you. From here, you move forward, different, lighter, freer, more yourself. Done. The message did what it came to do. It found you, and now it sets you free. The next phase has arrived. If you've made it this far, it's no coincidence. It's proof that the message found you and that your next phase has truly begun. To seal this moment, leave the phrase, "The message found me," in the comments. If you felt a calling to help this channel grow more directly and spread more content like this, there's a contribution link in the first pinned comment. Any help you can give is very important to me and the future of the channel, and I am immensely grateful for it. But understand that just watching until the end is already a huge help. If you can, share this video with someone who also needs to hear this message. And before you leave, your journey doesn't have to end here. A special video has been prepared for you to take the next step. Don't leave yet. Click on the video that's appearing on the screen now, and let's meet there.